Lesson 1.4 Mini Story 1.4.1 Pretty Baby. Hello, how are you feeling today? How's your mood? I hope that you are feeling wonderful. So, we are going to listen to the mini story lesson. I hope that you know our rules. As usual, you have to answer the questions quickly. So, are you ready? In that case, breathe deeply. Jump, run, dance, but please don't sit still, okay? And listen carefully. So let's go. There was a pretty baby. She was very clever. She was astute. Was there a man? No, there wasn't a man. Was there a woman? No, there wasn't a woman. Was there an old man? No, there wasn't an old man. Who was there? There was a pretty baby. Was there an ugly baby? No, there wasn't an ugly baby. Was she clever? Yes, she was very clever. Was the boy clever? No, there was not a clever boy. There was a clever baby. Who was astute? The baby was astute. She lived in France. She was French. She was very happy. Did she live in Brazil? No, she didn't live in Brazil. Did she live in China? No, she didn't live in China. Where did she live? She lived in France. Did Monica live in France? No, Monica didn't live in France. Who lived in France? The baby lived in France. What was her name? Her name was Alice. Was she sad? No, she wasn't sad. She was very happy. Was the boy very happy? No, the boy wasn't happy. Was the Alice happy? Yes, Alice was remarkably happy. Alice was the beautiful and intelligent baby. She was only 2 years old. Alice wanted to be an interpreter. She could speak 28 languages, and she learned 28 languages. Did she want to be a taxi driver? No, she didn't want to be a taxi driver. What did she want to be? She wanted to be an interpreter. Who wanted to be an interpreter? The Alice wanted to be an interpreter. Could she speak any languages? Yes, she could speak many languages. She could speak 10 languages. No, she could speak more than 10 languages. How many languages could she speak? She could speak 28 languages. She was a wonderful interpreter. She could speak not only one language, but also she could speak 28 languages perfectly. She could also speak Uzbek and Italian. Was she a bad interpreter? No, she was not a bad interpreter. What kind of interpreter was she? She was a wonderful interpreter. Could she speak 28 languages hardly? No, she could speak 28 languages perfectly. What kind of languages could she speak? She could speak Uzbek and Italian too. Could she speak English? She wanted to speak English perfectly. She made a firm decision to learn English, because she had already spoken Uzbek language. Did she want to learn Korean? No, she didn't want to learn Korean. Did she want to learn English? Yes, she wanted to learn English. Did Gloria want to learn English? No, she wasn't Gloria. Who was she? She was Alice. Did she decide to teach English? No, she didn't decide to teach English. She made the commitment to learn English. She went to a bookshop. She bought dictionaries, grammar books. And every day she learned grammar rules. She memorized new words every day. Did she go to museum? No, she didn't go to museum. Did she go to school? No, she didn't go to school. Where did she go? She went to a bookshop. Did Glory go to bookshop? No, Glory didn't go to a bookshop. The Alice went to a bookshop. Why did she go to a bookshop? Because she wanted to learn English. Did she buy English books there? Yes, she bought English and grammar books. Did she learn speaking? No, she learned grammar. Did she learn only grammar rules? She memorized not only grammar but also new words too. How often did she memorize new words? She learned new words every day. After 99 days, she still couldn't speak English. She knew many words. She nearly knew all grammar rules. However, she couldn't speak. When she tried to speak, she thought about grammar. She analyzed grammar rules. She couldn't use new words in real conversation. Could she speak English? No, she couldn't speak English. Why? Because she always learned grammar, not speaking. Could she use her vocabulary in a real conversation? No, she couldn't use her vocabulary in a real conversation. When she tried to speak, did she think about grammar? Yeah, she always thought about grammar. Why? Because she learned grammar. Her grammar was perfect, but her speaking was shallow. She didn't practice speaking. She decided to throw away all the grammar books. She threw away all the grammar books. She didn't know what to do. Did she decide to buy more grammar books? No, she didn't decide to buy grammar books. What did she decide? She decided to throw away all the grammar books. Did she throw away all the history books? No, she threw away all the grammar books. Did she know what to do? No, she didn't know what to do. Who didn't know what to do? The Alice didn't know what to do. Who was Alice? Alice was a clever girl. Where was she from? She was from France. She decided to go to school in France. The teachers taught her grammar repeatedly. She studied at school for 2 years, but after 2 years she didn't achieve her goal. She didn't reach her goal. She didn't attain her aim. Did she decide to go to college in France? No, she didn't go to college in France. Where did she go? She went to school. Where was the school? The school was in France. Was she taught grammar by teachers? Yes, she was taught grammar by teachers. Did she study there for 9 years? No, she didn't study there for 9 years. How long did she study there? She studied there for 2 years. Who studied there for 2 years? Alice studied there for 2 years. Where did she study? She studied at school in France. What did she study at school in France? She studied English grammar. After 2 years, did she achieve her goals? No, she didn't achieve her goals after 2 years. Why? Because she was always taught grammar. She was a grammar queen. If so, what was her dream? Her dream was to communicate with English people. What was her problem? Her problem was she couldn't speak English very well. That's why she couldn't achieve her goal. She wanted to succeed. She wanted to be fortunate. That's why she went to England. In England, she went to the Good Club. At the Good Club, she learned how to speak English perfectly. She learned English perfectly. Of course, she became happy. Did she want to succeed? Yes, she wanted to succeed. Who wanted to succeed? Alice wanted to succeed. Did she succeed? No, she didn't succeed. What did she do? She went to England. In England, she went to good club. Why did she go to good club? Because she wanted to speak very well. In good club, did she learn the grammar again? No, she didn't learn grammar. She practiced to speak English. After studying in good club, could she speak English? Yes, after studying in good club, she could speak English perfectly. Was she sad? No, she was not sad. She was happy. Why was she happy? Because she succeeded in good club. In 3 weeks, you listen to POV lesson in different tenses. By this way, you learn 3 important tenses without studying grammar books. In this story, you should change the tenses by yourself. But my dear students, never forget your purpose. Your purpose is to speak English. For doing this, you should listen to the audios every day at least 3 hours. When you speak, don't think about grammar, just feel it. It is the most important thing of your speaking. Lesson 1.4 Short Story 1.4.1 Pretty Baby. There was a pretty baby. She was very clever. She was astute. She lived in France. She was French. She was a very happy baby. Her name was Alice. She was remarkably happy. Alice was a beautiful and intelligent baby. She was only 2 years old. Alice wanted to be an interpreter. She could speak 28 languages. She was only 2 years old, and she learned 28 languages in 2 years. She was a wonderful interpreter. She could speak not only 1 language, but also she could speak 28 languages perfectly. She spoke Uzbek and Italian. She wanted to speak perfect English language. She made a firm decision to learn English because she had already spoken Uzbek language. She went to a bookshop. She bought dictionaries and grammar books. And every day she learned grammar rules. She memorized new words every day. After 99 days, she still couldn't speak English. She knew many words. She nearly knew all grammar rules. However, she couldn't speak. She tried to speak. She thought about grammar. She analyzed grammar rules. She couldn't use new words in a real conversation. She decided to throw away all the grammar books. She threw away all the grammar books. She didn't know what to do. She decided to go to school in France. The teachers taught her the grammar again and again. She studied at school for 2 years, but after 2 years, she didn't achieve her goal. She didn't reach her goal. She didn't attain her aim. She didn't accomplish her goals. She didn't have any goal achievements and attainments and accomplishments. She didn't achieve her ambition and aspiration yet. She wanted to succeed. She wanted to be fortunate. That's why she went to England. In England, she went to the good club. At the good club, she learned how to speak English perfectly. She didn't learn to speak Italian perfectly. She learned to speak English perfectly. Of course, she became happy. Now you have listened to this short story. It's time to listen to the mini story. Remember, when you listen to the short story, try to change the tenses by yourself. It will help you to feel the grammar. And while you are listening to the mini story, answer the questions. It will help you to speak English powerfully.